everyone, it's Kiera and I'm here today with a special video with my husband. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Regis.
Yes, and today we're going to be talking about locks and microlocks. We're going to be discussing the truth about frizz. Okay, Milo is having a little bit of a hissy fit. He wishes he could be a cat and get in the window like our cat. So here is Milo. He actually had a cut recently, very much giving poodle energy. Okay, poodle energy. All right, guys, so this video is about frizz and what we feel like you should know when it comes to frizz in the lock process. As you see, me and my husband are both locked. Why don't you share a little bit more about your lock journey?
So this is my third time with locks. You know, the first time I did them just normal, natural. The second time I did 2-strand twists, and this time I have Braidloc. So I really like these a lot. They're really cool, and yeah, it's been a long journey, and they're coming along nicely. They're starting to fall.
Okay, so how long have you been locked?
Been locked for a good 6 months, you know.
Nice, nice. So my husband and I are going to talk about what you should know when it comes to frizz in your lock journey and during your lock journey, okay? So again, I've been locked for over 4 years now. I think I'm on 4 years and 3 months. And my husband just stated that he's been locked for about 6 months. But I will say that our hair looks a bit different. We both have braid locks. I think you have about 100 and I'm at 255. He shaved the side of his head and the back. He has a lot of hair. He has a lot of hair. So it could easily be 500 locks on his head right now. And Milo agrees. You really just want to make sure that you're educated when it comes to the lock journey and just set expectations appropriately. Because some folks tend to have the wrong expectations when it comes to their locks. So we want to make sure that that's not you. Okay, guys, so we're going to do a little bit of Q&A for this session, and we'll kick things off. So, babe, can frizz be avoided during the microlock process?
No, you cannot avoid frizz. It's part of the process, and you know, it's kind of like a tattoo where, you know, it has that peeling phase. Frizz is kind of like that for locks. So, but once it's over, you know, you'll end up with what you wanted. So,
exactly. Frizz cannot be avoided. It is a part of the locking process, as my husband mentioned. Your hair needs to mesh together. It needs to kind of thread together, and it's essential. It's a part of the locking process. It's actually needed for your hair to kind of become that cohesive unit and to blend together. So is it avoidable? No, but there are ways to manage your frizz. We'll get into that shortly. Okay, so babe, how does your hair texture impact frizz?
So the looser your hair texture, the less frizz you're likely to experience, and the, you know, more coily or curlier your hair, the more frizz you'll most likely experience.
And I would say, even to add on to that, that it's maybe less noticeable the straighter the hair texture you're working with. But as you move into a more curlier, wavier hair texture, frizz is a little bit more noticeable, but it's not like everyone is avoiding frizz based on their hair type. We all are going to have to deal with some kind of frizz while we're locking our hair and while our hair is, you know, forming into those mature locks. Okay, babe, so let's flip this. Maybe it's time for you to ask me a question. What are some things that you like to know when it comes to frizz?
So how long can, you know, a person anticipate to actually have frizz? You know, they get their journey started, you know, what should they expect? Like, how long is that gonna last?
Okay, so that does vary depending on the person, their hair type, their lifestyle, how they're maintaining their hair. So we are going to talk about best practices to avoid additional frizz. But this can range from 6 months to, I would say, up to 2 years. It really depends, again, on that person. No, it's a part of the maturing process, but it depends on a multitude of different things, like the lock method you choose. You know, are you actually wrapping your hair at night? How often are you washing your hair? Are you playing with your hair throughout the day? How often are you touching on your hair? You know, how are you washing your hair? So there's so much to consider when it comes to frizz. But for me personally, I can speak for myself. I am about 4.5 years braid locks. So these are braids that have converted to locks over time. And for me, I noticed that my frizz was really managed and the locks were more mature, I would say about 1.5 years in. That's when I started noticing, okay, like these look a little bit more solid and like cohesive, right? So that would be my answer. But I mean, hey, what about you? You are locked again. This is your third round of locks. So tell us a little bit about your journey, what you've noticed.
Well, for me, you know, I'm not the most conscious person about wrapping my hair up and stuff like that. So for me, frizz was on and off. I would come and go in waves depending on, my maintenance. So I would say my first journey, I had frizz for a good year. My second journey, probably like 3 or 4 months. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for sharing your experience, and your locks look beautiful.
Thanks so
much. Thank you.
What are, I guess, the things that people are doing that are impacting their frizz? Like, what causes frizz, or what can they do to get rid of it?
So there's some things that would make frizz more noticeable and like actually result in even more frizz and maybe naturally your hair would have, right? And so I would say if you're not wrapping your hair up at night, that's going to make your hair more frizzy than maybe it would regularly be just throughout the maturing process, right? So it's important to wrap your locks at night. Now, too, washing can actually increase frizz, but I personally think it's good to wash your hair once a week, once every other week. It does actually help with the locking process itself, but your hair is going to frizz as you wash your hair. That is just something that can't be avoided. It's just something that you should expect, okay? So yeah, washing can increase frizz, not wrapping your hair at night, dealing with a really, really clingy golden doodle that oh no, I'm just kidding. That's not going to impact your frizz. So that being said, to wrap up the video, I'm going to share some best practices that you should consider if you want to avoid increasing the frizz during your lock journey, okay? So 1, cover your hair at night. We just discussed that earlier. Very important to secure those locks. When we're sleeping, we toss and turn, and so it's important just to make sure that you're securing your locks at night. 2, wash gently. I made a video called Getting Started with Microlocks where I talked about what I do to wash my hair. You don't have to be doing this. You don't have to be doing that. You just kind of, lather the shampoo in your hair and you kind of press down like this. That's going to help decrease frizz throughout the wash process. Although it cannot be 100% completely avoided, you can do some things to kind of mitigate the advancement of that. Wash gently, okay? Do moisturize your hair lightly. I like to use a rose water spray in my hair and spritz my hair every night. You don't need to deep condition your hair or anything like that. These are locks. You want them to harden. You want them to form into that matured lock. And conditioning that would just kind of be a deterrent to that. Get a bottle of water, rose water, spritz your hair, and make sure you're hydrating your hair. Minimize manipulation. So make sure you're not picking at your hair. I kind of have a fidgety side to me myself. So sometimes I doze off and I play with my hair, but the more you do that, the more you're manipulating your hair. So if you don't want too much frizz other than what's necessary for the lock process, then just try to minimize manipulation. Lastly, stick to a retightening schedule. So, and I'm talking about the frizz at the roots. Just make sure you're retwisting your hair, but don't overdo it more than necessary. All right, so last but not least, patience is a virtue. I've grown my patience with my baby boy Milo coming into my life, and it's really helped with my hair journey, okay? So patience is a virtue. Frizz is necessary, it's part of the locking journey, but there's some things that you can do to ensure that it's not frizzing more than necessary, and just be patient. And that being said, I invited my husband to close us off because he's on his 3rd round of locks, and I'd love for you to talk about what patience means to you during the lock process.
For me, patience means, 1, acknowledging or understanding that there is a process and you can't really necessarily speed it up or slow it down. And if there are ways for you to do that, it might not necessarily be the best decision. It is something that does take time and dedication, and you have to kind of love your hair just like a plant. You have to tend to it and just really be intentional about, maintaining it, whether they're twists or freeform or braid locks. They're all going to take that same level of investment. So
yes, and a special appreciation to you because you were a big influencing factor when it comes to me just appreciating my natural beauty and being pro black beauty, and so I appreciate you.
Sure.
So yeah. Okay guys, so that is our video when it comes to frizz and what you should know about frizz during the lock process. Last but not least, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Feel free to subscribe if you like videos like this. If you want to see Regis again, my husband, let me know. He loves making videos. He loves to make TikToks. He loves to make videos. He loves to do it all, okay? And Milo, let's thank Milo for his attendance, his unwarranted attendance. And Zoe. She's the good one, okay? But yes, thank you so much for your time today. Take care and talk soon. I'm Kira. Bye-bye.